Hello, and we are back to the 1980 Wimbledon final between Bjorn Borg and John McEnroe. Today I'm just going to talk about the fourth set. Not even the whole fourth set, just to the point of getting to the tiebreaker when they were tied at 6 games apiece. For me, I think it really, both the first 12 games and the tiebreaker kind of merit their own discussion, and they're both just phenomenal. So let's start with the first 12 games. Just as a reminder, Borg was leading the match at this point 2 sets to 1. McEnroe won the first set. Borg won the second and the third. One thing that you can just kind of an overall theme of this set is that the level of play was much higher on both parts. McEnroe played at a high level again after not playing as well in the third set, and then Borg really he picked it up even more in the fourth set, and it was something else for McEnroe to keep pace with Borg. But we'll get into those details in just a minute. But one of the great things is that rather than it becoming a comedy of errors or an attrition, it was really just reaching a higher level of play than even that they had played in the first 3 sets. McEnroe served first. He had an easy hold, and then Borg held as well, and they just continued holding throughout the set. But just a quick note in that first Borg hold, McEnroe had one of these shots, and I just love it. I'm a left-hander too, and he ended up doing it again twice to devastating effect in the 1981 U.S. Open final. But Borg basically hits a shot over to McEnroe's left, so it's a forehand, and McEnroe just kind of scoops the ball up with a lot of topspin cross court over Borg's head, topspin overhand lob, and Borg just walks right back, just as he did at the U.S. Open. And so I just noticed that was not the first time in the U.S. Open that McEnroe had hit that shot before. It's just one of my favorite shots that McEnroe hits, and he did that in that first game. Borg, but again, continued to serve very well. His serve was, of course, an underrated part of his game, but a lot of players knew once he got really going, he could really serve well, especially off the tee and with a lot of pace and with those unpredictable grass bounces at Wimbledon. McEnroe's second serve, he went down love 30, so this was a good opportunity for Borg to make a break. But then McEnroe just started serving really well. And what he was doing, I noticed that he didn't do in the first 3 sets, was really keying in on serving into the which would be right to left into the uh, deuce court. McEnroe had this tough serve, but he hit it really out far wide to Borg's forehand, and he had I don't know how many aces in the set, but he hit all these tough serves where he would come out a couple feet wider and then just hit a straight arrow right down the line, and Borg could not get to it with his forehand. And Borg never really adjusted. He didn't change where he was positioning on the baseline, either to right to left or frontward or backwards. And McEnroe really keyed in on that. In addition to him being able to swing that left-handed serve into the ad court, he was taking advantage of the deuce court too. They ended up going back to deuce, and then McEnroe won the set or won the game. Um, in the Borg second game, he was down 15-30, but then Mac made an error, or McEnroe made an error, and Borg ended up winning the game. The BBC commentator said after it was 2-2, there will be a terrific fight for the first break of service, and he was very correct about that. They were holding serve for quite a while here. Um, McEnroe held again, and then Borg also held to bring it to 3-3. They both were playing a really great combination of service, and I would say Borg was McEnroe's equal in this set as far as the volleys. I mean, Borg just looked like such a great volleyer. He was playing serve and volley. He was coming up to the net behind his forehands, and he played really well. I think he played better at the net than McEnroe did actually in this set. And McEnroe was always the famous one for net play. Again, 3-3, and the one thing they also noted, and I saw too, was that McEnroe was getting a second wind in this fourth set. That he seemed to be kind of getting fatigued in the second and the third, and then in the fourth set it wasn't as taxing for him, and he was able to play much better and with more energy. So he had a quick hold, serving out wide to Borg's forehand in the deuce court, and out left to swinging it left to Borg's backhand in the ad court. And but every game, you might notice, it seemed like every game, even when McEnroe won 40-15 or 40, at 15 or at 30, Borg would just hit a great return. He would either just hit a flat out winner, or he would force McEnroe into an error. He was always, didn't know when he was going to hit that serve, but he was very good at keying in on McEnroe's serve, maybe picking up on the cues that he would give, when how he's going to serve and to where. Borg held at to get the 44, 40 all. He was down 15-30, and he did hit a really great shot down the line, a backhand. Kind of surprised McEnroe, I believe, on that shot. And finally, we get to 4-4. It's, of course, the key game. If you ever want to break somebody, this is the best time to do it, because you can go 5-4 and then serve out for the set. Sure enough, Borg broke McEnroe at 4-5. McEnroe was up 30-15, but then he made a couple of errors, uncharacteristic. One volley hit long, another one he hit into the net. And then Borg hit two really good backhands off of the returns at 4-5. One, McEnroe barely got his racket on it, and the other one Borg hit for a winner. Crowd erupted. It's 4-5. Here we go again. Borg's going to win his fifth straight Wimbledon. He's got the break he needs. He's up 2-1. He's serving for the match. And for me, this was like this 5-4 game that Borg served at was really a huge game. I mean, not just for what what it meant in the match, but just how great McEnroe played in this game. It was just really, every time I watched it twice just to kind of get through this notes and such. I'm still like excited and amazed by what McEnroe was able to do. I could talk about it all day, but again, if you watch it, it's great. That's why I'm kind of doing this to encourage people to watch these matches. But it got to Borg was up 30-love, 30-15. McEnroe had a nice volley. Then it was up 40-15, and he had 2 championship points. And there was this. He had a really good serve, but it was just long. And as you might know, back in Wimbledon, you really have to watch for the chalk, especially on the line calls. It looked like it might have been in, that it would have been an ace at 40-15, and the crowd kind of shrieked some female voices. But if you play it back, you can kind of see it's just barely long. And at that time, there was no technology. They were just kind of gentlemen leaning back at their chairs and sport coats and had their legs crossed and were watching the match, looking like they could nod off at any minute. But it was truly long. It was not a missed call. And then it was this amazing shot. McEnroe kind of baited Borg into this point. He hit 40-15, and he hit a soft return, and then he kind of left his next shot a little bit short, and Borg hit a chip shot and came in on McEnroe, and McEnroe just had his backhand down the line passing shot. I mean, from the middle of the court to McEnroe's right. Very uncommon shots to see from that position, to be able to thread the needle and hit a winner on that shot. And the crowd kind of cheered. It was just such a great shot, but it kind of also dawned on me how pro Borg the BBC was. It was just amazing how much they just wanted to crown Borg as the winner, Mr. Borg, and they were so deferential to Borg, and it's understandable. People loved him. He's very charismatic. He was very good looking. He was very unassuming and modest, and just went about his business, and just had a kind of a aura about him that people liked. And he never showed anybody up. He never talked back. And there's a story behind all that. But Borg, you never knew really what was going on. So, anyways, McEnroe got it to 40-30, and then Borg hit a nice serve, and McEnroe they had a little bit of back and forth, and Borg hit a cross court shot, and McEnroe had to run to his left, and he kind of just picked it up at a little bit above waist level and just volleyed it into the corner. It was just amazing, especially with those little heads on those wooden rackets they had back then. It was just, I just can't believe McEnroe got the ball just clean like that. It looked like it could have surely been an error. He brings it to deuce, and then McEnroe gets Borg to make an error, and then McEnroe hits a straight out winner across the court. Again, for backhand across court, but this time he was from further over on the left hand of the court. And he yelled, "Come on!" And he kind of pumped his fist after he hit that shot. McEnroe did show emotion from time to time, positive, but not very often, not like Jimmy Connors would do throughout a match. So he was really fired up. He pulled himself 4 straight points to pull the rug from out under Borg, take those 2 championship points away, and he was back in the game. 5-5. Then he held to 6-5 at Love. He had a couple of aces, and then Borg got a hold 2 to bring it to 6-6. Just another thing, McEnroe had some chances in that game, and I bet he really wishes he had been able to take advantage of that. But again, Borg just served so well. He was so good at the net, hitting all his volleys, quick hands. I've seen other Borg matches where he didn't come up to the net as much, and I really think this is the best I personally seen him play at the net. So he broke the momentum of McEnroe's 8 straight games or 8 straight matches. So that was great. We were at 6-6. Just a couple other quick notes. It's fun to watch the BBC version. For one reason, it's different, of course, than Bud Collins and Dick Edberg, who I like too. But it's fun to kind of watch the crowd in the background between points, between takeovers. Looks like there's a lot of characters in that crowd, and it's kind of fun to watch. It's almost like a time machine, seeing people how they were 43 years ago now. Another interesting thing I saw there was the drinks. I'd noticed in the past matches, I think even in the 70s, they used to drink Coke at these matches between games. And in this, maybe that's in the U.S., but in this match, they had what was called barley water, and big jugs of it, these colorful jugs. And it's a traditional drink consumed in various parts of the world. It is made by boiling barley grains in water, then usually straining to remove the grains and possibly adding other ingredients, for example, sugar. So this was not Gatorade. It was called barley water, but apparently it was good for hydration, and it had some minerals in it, and was not an uncommon drink at that time. So just picking up those little things on the camera. Once again, we're at 6-6. Really great set, and my next video will just be exclusively about the 4-set tiebreaker. Until then.